Hey everyone! The 57th Ludum Dare Game Jam just happened, so it's time to look at how I made my entry, Deep Dive. I actually planned on working with a team this time, and began brainstorming with them. Unfortunately, we just couldn't find an idea that the whole team was excited to work on, so it made the most sense to split up. Luckily, I had come up with an idea during that brainstorming session that I couldn't stop thinking about. It was one of those rare jam ideas that I could already envision the complete game, and my brain would not have been happy if I suppressed it. I had to create this and see it come to reality. The theme was depths, and my idea was about diving into pools of different depths, while doing tricks in the air to score points, of course. There would be a risk-reward aspect to the game, where players could choose their jump height, either prioritizing more time in the air for tricks, or better safety on the way down. Players would also be able to choose their entry angle into the water, which would affect both how deep they went and a score multiplier. I began by getting a basic scene drawn and placed in Unity, before moving on to programming the systems that I would need. By the end of the day, most of the code structure was in place to capture trick inputs and play the animations. The next day was a big focus on art. I naively started by importing my stick figure as a single sprite, and just struggled for a while trying to rig it such that each limb could move without distorting the others. I finally realized that this approach was never gonna work, and found out that Unity's PSD importer package was the proper workflow. With this, I could import each layer of my source image as a separate sprite, and then the rigging was much easier to set up and get the results that I wanted. So far, I've been using Unity's timeline feature to play animation clips and audio clips, but to realize my full vision, I needed to be able to attach props to the player during the tricks. This was primarily inspired by emotes in Destiny 2, like eating popcorn. With the help of some online research, I set up a system where I could add my own custom tracks to a timeline, which I called a prop track, and immediately got to work drawing some singles to test my first idea that would use a prop. And this was the critical breakthrough. Now that I knew I could add props to the tricks, the sky was the limit, and I felt like my creative expression was set free. To make a new trick, I would make an animation for posing the character, add in one or more audio clips, and finally, draw and attach any visual effect props that I thought would enhance it. For most of the tricks, I just grabbed sound effects from the internet and from the library that I've built up over the years. But if I couldn't find one that fit just right, it was time to record my own. I then took that into Audacity for some processing. Add some reverb and pitch it down, and now our character has a much more powerful Zen meditation trick. Since I was having fun recording audio, I may have gone a little too far with the splash sound. I decided that I wanted to have a light splash sound for a perfectly vertical dive, and a heavier smack if you belly flop. I didn't think I would find good clips for these, so I filled up my bathtub a little bit and slapped the water. This was for sure one of those jam projects where it just sneaks up on me how much the presentation of the game changes. From the point where the code all works to the finished product, it always feels awesome to me to see how far and how quickly it progressed. Well, that pretty much covers it. I'll leave some links in the description where you can find the game if you want to play it yourself. Otherwise, we'll finish out the video with a demonstration of all the tricks.
Wow! go even further beyond!